Well, hello again. It's been far too long. This is X-Plane. This is the Cessna 172 with reality expansion pack. This is San Francisco, Mr. X scenery, and orbits Northern California, which actually I just want to give you a little tour of right now, is pretty damned beautiful, I gotta say. We haven't gotten together in a while, and all I can say is I'm sorry, and I've been thinking about doing it for a long time. A whole bunch of life stuff got in the way, but that is what happens, and you know, life is life, and I know everybody can appreciate that. I've got an aging stepfather, and all of us in the family are kind of helping take care of him, and work has been nuts. Anyway, reason why we're sitting here in the Cessna 172 is because I was watching some videos from Bill 4LE, and he is spectacular. He's great, and a really sweet guy, and you should watch his channel. But he is actually, by now he might have gotten his PPL, training in a 172, and he noticed that in a real 172 you can dirty it up and slip and go down and not pick up a lot of speed, whereas in this, even with the new reality expansion pack, even with the latest version of it, probably because X-Plane has been tinkering with its flight model, it's a little bit iffy. So what I wanted to do, and I'll do that after I cough, well, I'm at it, I'll check my microphone. There we go. Since I've got P3D installed as well, and I've got the A to A 172, which is the closest analog to it, and also a remarkably well modeled sim, thought I'd give it a back try for you, just so that you can get some idea of what he's talking about, and get some idea of the differences between the two, at least at the moment. We're going to use almost analogous scenery. This is Mr. X6's, which is free, and in P3D it's Flight Beam, which is, I don't know, about 25-30 bucks. They're both unbelievably good. Using Orbix for both, except Orbix in P3D is about 5 or 6 years old, and this is brand shiny new. And I just thought I'd reacquaint you with my sim setup, just in case you got any questions. So what this is a newly installed 9900K, which is basically like a small volcano under my desk right now. I'm struggling to cool it. 64 gigs of RAM, a Titan RTX card, not because it's any faster than a 2080 Ti, but because I managed to finagle one from somebody in my proximate work environment, shall we say, and also because it has 24 gigs of VRAM, which means that X-Plane doesn't run out of VRAM for textures, and when Vulkan comes out in a few days, weeks, months, it will not be starved for VRAM. I would not pay for this myself if I had to, but I managed to do a little fiddling and diddling and kind of have it on long-term loan. I got the Brunner yoke, and other than that, all is fine. I'm running at 3440 by 1440, and as you can see right here, sitting on the ground in the Cessna at KSFO, I'm getting 42 frames-ish, which isn't stellar, but it's not bad. I'm running Active Sky, and as you'll see, the rendering in Active Sky is different in P3D than it is here for a bunch of reasons. But our main goal right now is to check the slipperiness of the two aircraft. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly a very, very high, very close pattern back here. We're going to pretend that KSFO, one of the busiest airports in the country and certainly on the West Coast, is our own private airstrip, so we're not going to give a damn about anything else. What runway am I on? All right, I'm on the left side. So what we'll do is we will take off here. We'll note any flight behavior characteristics, I suppose. We'll make a pretty quick turn crosswind, and we'll fly towards the dangerous terrain until we're roughly parallel with the coastline where we want to turn final. So let's get going. First, let's just kind of be good pilots here. And by the way, the main difference between the A2A and this is that this features a shitty, cheap S-Tech autopilot, and the P3D version has a shitty, cheap King KAP. KAP 140, and does this have a VFR button? No, it does not. Let's try that again. Altitude, and we want 1, 2. All right, that's not supposed to do it that way. No. 1, 2. All right, well, this is broken. Nice. All right, well, clear. 1, 2, there we go. All right, good. And we're squawking altitude, and our trim is, bring that back just a little bit. And as we do that, actually want to be on both tanks, and we want to be close to full, and we are. And we've got just us in here and just a tiny little bit of baggage in the back, so we're all within limits for CG. Our altimeter is set, corresponds with field elevation. Our, let's see, we should be at about 282 right there, so let's just be good pilots about that as well. And we'll set our heading bug to 90 degrees from here from our crosswind, because it's easier to fly to a bug than to a number. Well, we should just be doing it by eyeball. And looking now that everything is in the green and we're sucking, and we're good to go. Let's get hell out of here. Okay, everything's good. Let's blast off. This requires a bootload of right rudder, which is not atypical. As to how much is too much, I don't know. The experimental flight model is off because the rep Simcoders recommends against it. We'll just climb at about 75. And we're climbing up to 2,000, not 1,000. Pitch for 75. You can see it really requires a ton. Not sure if that is accurate. It requires about 3/4 full rudder, and I think that might be a bit much, but I'm not a real pilot. Struggle to maintain runway heading here. And the performance is about what you expect. We're going up 1,100 feet per minute at about 75 knots. There we are. And we'll start our turn here. The roll rate is a little bit sprightly, I think. Power back a little. And we want to be sort of even with the that inlet right there. Level off in a second. It should hit about 130 knots, actually, the way we're cooking along. Level off at 2, trim down. And this airplane requires quite a bit of nose down deck angle to fly at cruise. Level off, as you can see. Fly outbound at about 014. And so we're going to be grossly high and grossly fast. And the electric trim on 172s is notoriously slow. So that's not really, the fact that it's taking forever to trim the airplane is not unusual. What most pilots do is simply reach down right there and jiggle, turn the trim wheel. All right, so we're level out here, and as is typical for X-plane, at least without the new flight model, the airplane is a little bit busy in the pitch attitude. The real one is a little bit less so. I will say my only flying experience is in PA-28s, which you could trim out and fall asleep and enjoy a nice long nap. And all right, so love up to our base leg here. Come around. Again, grossly fast, grossly high, or at least we will be grossly high by the time we turn final. So we'll use all the tools in our toolbox to fix it. All right, so there we are. Turn final now. Let's not losing the altitude. All right, so here we are. So now, tool number 1, power. Now I'm going to have to hold my nose here until we slow down enough to bring flaps in. Flaps out. I think we can bring in a notch right now. Okay. As soon as we get below the white arc here, bring out another. I'm going to start to slip us. Hard right rudder and left aileron. And I want you to look at the speed, airspeed indicator here. Going down commensurately. There's our final notch of flaps. And there's a pretty big balloon. And now we should be just dirty as hell. Now you can see we are doing about 90 knots. Which all things considered is not bad. We're going down to 1,500 feet per minute. But we're picking up a little bit of steam here. So in a second, gonna start to bring out the slip. So I'm bringing out the rudder and I'm bringing out the aileron. Again, we're flight idle here. I'm really trimming as fast as I can. And you can see the nose is kind of bobby. You can also see that we are just taking our sweet old time to slow down here. If I can do a full stall landing, there we go. All right. So that is X-Plane, and I have to say it looks pretty damn good, and the airplane flies pretty damn nice, except it feels slippery. So let's just get out of here. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to change over here. The other change is I'm editing on a Mac, so I'm learning Final Cut Pro, and I'm not especially good at it. All right, get rid of that. We'll start up our Active Sky for P3D. Now, one thing I will say about P3D is it loads a hell of a lot faster. So there we go. There's our Active Sky. There's our chase plane, which is sort of like X camera, only a little bit slicker. I don't know if it's better. They do mostly the same things, but more gimmicky. And here's our P3D, academic, of course, because you know me, call me professor. And watch how different it is. I've just got this up right now because I'm monitoring my temperatures on this Mount Vesuvius of processors here. Okay, first thing is P3D's interface sucks, but that's another story. Okay, so there is our Cessna, or as they say in the continent, a Cessna. Very, very continental. And you'll see we're going to go to KSFO, but we're going to go to Flightbeam's version of it, and it's pretty damn good. If you've experienced Flightbeam's Portland for X-Plane, it is damn good. All right, we'll get started here. You also notice that the cloud rendering is a little bit different. This is not strictly speaking a P3D X-Plane comparison or which is better or anything like that. This is simply comparing two very similar airplanes, as you'll see, on different platforms from different manufacturers, and from two perfectionist manufacturers, Simcoders and A-to-A. As a matter of fact, Simcoders is sort of called the A-to-A of X-Plane. So anyway, let's take a look here. And as you can see, well, first of all, I don't have any GPS installed, but that's neither here nor there. And you can see instead of the shitty S-Tech, there's the shitty King, but it doesn't really matter. The six-pack is almost identical. The rendering is pretty similar, though. If you look here, it's a little bit better done here. A little bit better done here, but I mean, other than that, it's a frickin' Skyhawk, and who cares? They suck. You know, it's a box kite. Let's see. We'll just get set up here again. Get that about right. There we go. Get our turn heading set. Get our lights set. They're good. I mean, Jesus, if I want to go nuts here, I can set the barrow here for this. Everything is modeled on this plane, so that much is true, and it is lovely. Let's see. We do have a transponder, and let's just set it an altitude, and it is. And I think we're ready to go. So we'll do exactly the same thing here. And, well, before we do that, I can make it even quieter, but I don't want to switch it into John Fly mode there. All right. Just make sure I've got my right yoke profile here. Yes, I do. Exact same profile. Now, you can see the weather has rendered just a little bit differently. And I think back in this direction, we've got a cloud bank and a bit of a marine layer coming over the hills. If I'm not mistaken. A little bit. Not too bad. And from the frames you can see we're doing about 50% faster frames for whatever reason. And again, this is Orbix also, but it's older Orbix NorCal. And let's get our mixture full rich. And let's get the hell out of Dodge here. And you can see this is a little bit busy also. Slightly different sounds. Oops, I've got a short field yoke input there. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. There we go. And again, requires about a bootload of rudder. Not quite as much as the X-Plane version. We're climbing a little slower at 75 knots here. Yeah, maybe 100 feet per minute slower, give or take. Let me just bring the nose up a little bit. It is a little less busy than the X-Plane version. The roll rate is slower. Definitely slower. Far slower. Which one is right, I don't know. And it requires a little bit less rudder to correct the left turning tendency. Sounds a little more like a lawnmower too. I've not had enough time in either one of these airplanes to know which is more true to life, but I will say subjectively the X-Plane one sounds better. Alright. Get our heading bug spun around to about 0, 1, 0. Technically it should be about 0, 1, 4. We'll make our turn now. Requires much less rudder to fly coordinatively. But the trim is just as agonizingly slow, and the required deck angle is just as seriously low. So there we go. And let's see what our speed turns out to be. Forgive me, it's not 0, 1, 0, it's 1, 0, 0. We're going to be turning to 0, 1, 0 in a second. Let's just wait for the golf course. Alright, that's another problem with P3D is airports rendering. Alright, I believe I've got the slightly higher powered engine in this version than in the X-Plane version, hence our little bit exuberant top speed there. But let's just get ourselves to the same 2,000 feet. There we are. There we are. Okay, and there's the golf course coming up. Well, there it is, going past. Again, my standard rate turn. Nothing schmancy. On our base, and see how close we are again. Okay, and we'll turn final. Again, requires a little less rudder. so here we are again, egregiously high and egregiously fast. And let's see what we can do about it. So again, turn the power off, keep the nose up, retrim for a lower speed before we get there. Wait for below 100, drop the first notch of flaps, and actually I think I've let myself get just a little bit higher than last time. So there's first notch. Bring our slip in. Okay, there's our second notch of flaps. And there's our third notch of flaps. Now, again, look at the airspeed. Again, we're going down about 2,500 feet per minute. You know what? Got myself off center line here. Okay, so again, now we're going down about 1,500 feet per minute, but you can see we're now at 70. And we're holding at 70 and holding at 1,500 feet per minute. I'm being a little less than scrupulous about my slip here. But even with less of a slip angle, it is draggier. Now, before we do anything else, let me just retrim. And you can see we are really coming down. So we're getting close to on profile already. So I'm just going to trickle some power in. And you can see how much draggier that is. As a matter of fact, it just feels that way going through the air right now. So let's just get ourselves situated. And this is a profile right now we're on. You would be flying. You'd be flying just perhaps just a dot or so high. Guard against engine failure there, and now that the runway is made, we'll duck down below and keep just a token amount of power in right now and retrim and retrim. And I will do my normal trick of flaring too high. Okay, now power is out, and you can see how different the behavior is, especially in the flare. I flared too high and then I dropped, but all the same, it's a lot different behavior. Now, I will tell you this much. I don't fly P3D, so I can fly one of these. Although one day I guess I might have to for training. My goddamn brother just passed his physical after many years and is re-upped his gliders, his pilot's license, and flying gliders again, which of course he never let me forget, the little rat bastard. Smug son of a bitch. So I have to get cracking on my own license belatedly, just so he doesn't lord it over me forever. But anyway, the reason why you fly P3D is so that you can fly things like this, which is the magnificent A-to-A Comanche, which is a high performance plane with, as you can see, it's got way too much wing. Now this plane floats forever. On the other hand, watch how quickly we get up to altitude, and it is kind of absurd and just so much fun, because this thing just, well, you'll see, you can pull it back to about 22 by 22. That's inches manifold by top RPM and just watch it just loiter along. But I mean, this is really why this is why I fly P3D. As you can see, we're just going to rocket our way up to 2,000 feet. Rudder is so linear here. Watch as I just crank in, just degree by degree by degree here. Look at this. It is so exquisitely sensitive and linear and pleasurable. As I'm cranking left rudder, I'm putting in a little bit of right aileron so that we stay level. This is the owner of A2A. It's his personal airplane. He flies one of these, and you can see we've busted all out over. We busted out all over our 2,000 feet here, but we'll make do. I'm just going to pull this back to about 22 inches there, by about 22, and I just want you to listen to the sound of this engine at this setting. And I'm just going to trim down a bit here until we get settled out. And you'll see that turbulence aside here, look at that. It just is rock solid. You listen to this. I'm now hands off. We're just bumping along here with the wind in active sky. And well, let's just land here. I think this is SQL. This is San Carlos here. And we're going to fly a grossly high pattern and just fly it all just terribly, terribly wrong. I think I've got this as an Orbix airport, I think. Well, start to descend. You generally descend about 15 inches of manifold. And bring the props to full. And you'll see at a reasonable rate of speed that gets us a reasonable rate of descent. There we go. Just lose some speed here. Basically going to fly out to the edge of that little salt flat there. Yeah, is that San Carlos? Looks like it. Well, anyway, it's a teeny little airport. And let's see if we can land it in a teeny little airport. The thing about this airplane is, because of the winginess of it, just floats like crazy. So we're almost being the numbers. And we're high, so we're gonna fix that in the mix. Okay. Get our gear out. First notch in. Okay, down and locked. Locked and loaded. I'll turn base right here. That's going to be a quick base to final, as you can see. And we'll probably be high. Come off the power, get in another notch. Get on a little slip angle. final notch of flaps. There we go. Trim, 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 trim. Lose some speed and settle onto the glide path. There we go. You can see, very short strip. And I'm already off the power because this thing is a float monster. See? And that is why that's why you fly P3D for this utterly amazing airplane, and it's about 3 years old too. So ain't nothing wrong with it. Not crazy about this airport, whatever it is, but just get the hell out of the way. And on that note, I will see you next time. You should look forward to more good stuff. I'm getting the Mighty Dash going again, and with any luck there'll be some really good stuff to fly on both platforms, and then pretty soon on Flight Sim 2020. So until then, keep watching. Thanks for watching, and I'm sorry it's been so long. Bye-bye.